The car is finally home and I have the CageKits road race cage in, and I want to talk a little bit more about it, so let's go. CageKits is known for more of their drift cage that's kind of ready to go and just weld right in, as opposed to just going to the fabricator and telling them to customize one. Was they had one already for the Foxbody. When I had talked to Rob, their slayer, he and I kind of chatted. I told him what I was doing with the Fox and he was just like, you know, I want to get more into road race stuff. Let's work together on this. And so I was like, you know what, let's do it. I really wanted to work with Rob and develop something for the Foxbody and kind of be like the first thing. You know, this was a big portion of it, as you guys saw in the other video. And if you haven't already seen that, go and check it out. I had to cut out the drag race cage that was in it before because it was just not for this. A couple people have said like, well, why don't you just go with like a drag race cage? Road race cages are reinforced for what we're doing. Just like a drag race cage would be reinforced for that specific genre of driving, road race cages are a little bit different. So this is meant to be the tightest fitting cage with the most clearance, and they achieve that by doing a 3D scan and then working it through CAD and then cutting it from there. So it's all CNC cut, it's all notched up and ready to go. So that by the time you get it, it's shipped out to you in a big old pallet, and you literally just take it to your fabricator, or if you're welding it in, you just are able to weld it in. It came with some instructions. It was labeled so you know exactly where the bars are. I did go with DOM over chromoly because I don't have chromoly budget, to be honest. And also I think it's just kind of the choice for NASA and SCCA. So I chose a 1.75 inch DOM with a 0.120 wall thickness because that's going to be based off my end race weight. The plan is that I'm going to be running this in GLTC Grid Life. They follow the same as the NASA and SCCA sanctioning body requirements and guidelines. I ended up going with the X style door bars that for a non-gutted. I didn't know if I was going to run a door panel, which I ended up getting from LRB. So LRB has the 79 to 93 Foxbody nice door panels. They're aluminum. I did not weigh them. They're like under 5 pounds for sure. There's nothing here. They're very, very simple. Oh, we got a slight issue. So it looks like we're gonna have to notch the door. With CageKits for the non-gutted, it did say that I'm going to have to cut part of the door panel. I'm probably gonna just notch this in a little bit more so it's like a cleaner look, but I don't think I'm gonna cut the whole thing because I wanna try to keep it like as clean as possible like that. When we get to that part, I'll probably notch in the door. To give you an idea of how tight the door bars are, the door is pretty much gutted. I took everything off the door, but this is what the fitment looks like right now. The fitment's pretty tight. If you are gonna run gutted doors, this will work. If you're gonna run non-gutted doors, you would have to run your body panels up here and probably cut into it. With my LRB setup, I'm probably just gonna like cut into the door panels, you know, just to have it nice and flush. Like I was mentioning, the tightness. So up in there, so you can see the main hoop, the door bars, like I mentioned, the X style, these are the non-gutted. And then you have the sill bars, the diagonals, the roof bars, the anti-intrusion bars. My friends over at 313 Motorsports was the one that put the cage in, Evan Bokovich. So they ended up doing it there in NorCal. In case you're interested, you can look them up, 313 Motorsports. He was the one who put it together. He's done like a handful of cage kits for different chassis. So, you know, he just kind of worked together with Rob. This was the first road race cage that Evan had put in for the Fox, at least. So one of the key things for the Fox is that it's a 1989 tin can. And so I want as much rigidity as I can get out of it. And like I had mentioned, a lot of this seems like it's overkill, but it's not until you actually need it where then you're like, oh, I'm glad that it was kind of overkill. And if you notice that these intersections make this thing as rigid as possible. I will say that there are certain bars on here that is kind of optional. So it's just kind of based on what your sanctioning body requires. Now, if you notice, I do not have a harness bar behind me because I'm still trying to figure out a few components on here. So like, as you see, there's no dash right now. So I still need to get that. So since I haven't figured out my driving position yet, what seat I'm going to use and just kind of configure that, I haven't put the harness bar in. So once I have a better understanding of what my driving position will look like, that's when the harness bars will go up. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all the YouTube things, and keep following this build and all the other stuff I have going on. Okay, continue on. A couple other things that I want to add to the cage, which is going to be the safety net I'll have up on the cage, and then probably some other provisions for tabs for certain things. I think we're probably going to do a lot more stuff in the front once we understand the bracing and what's needed for when the engine goes in, which, by the way, I have not done a video on, so I got to do that on what engine I chose and why. So up front here, we have the anti-intrusion bars, and these will come up and be able to help protect us from any kind kind of smash in. We have a halo bar that will help protect our head when, in case of a rollover, like none of that will happen. And then in the front, one of the things that we're gonna have to figure out when the engine finally goes in is kind of the orientation and what brake master and booster that we're gonna go with. We're gonna be running out of space. Bars going out to the strut towers. Go look at the ones in the rear, because there's a little bit of a different situation back there. The situation on the car is that I bought it as a drag car. And I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I really didn't know what I was looking at when I first bought it. What I realized after I had gotten it is that the guy before me had mini tubbed it. And so what that means is that he added more material and moved the shock towers inboard for larger tires for a drag race build. The shocks inboard that obviously removed it from its factory location. We have to make the decision to just kind of move these boxes just for rigidity. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how this detail is going to affect future of what we're doing. I do have an unboxing video of the S550 cradle and kind of whole rear end system that I'm gonna be utilizing. And so in the next couple of weeks, we will be, you have something to say about it? Okay, go ahead, say it to the camera.
In the next couple of weeks, make sure to watch the IRS video that my mommy's gonna have for putting this thing together.
Pretty easy. I was able to just figure out, like, based on the weight, what I needed and all of that. That kind of led me into the sizing of the cage as well as the weight and the wall thickness and all of that. Past that, it kind of just is based on what it is like that you need. Specifically, like for me, for the window net, other provisions for anything else that you have going on and that you can think of ahead of time. And then last but not least, the color. That's a big one for me. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what color combo to go with the Mustangs. If you guys have ideas of what color combination should go on the Mustang, so like, I don't know if it's gonna continue to be red, then the cage has to be a certain color. So send me your color combos, please. So going from the back of the car to the front, this attaches to the, technically should be the shocks. And then this goes into the main hoop, which comes up to here. So the main hoop will then attach to the B pillars, which then go to the door bars, which then go to the A pillars. And then they have those things that I talked about, the intrusion bars, the dash, as well as the halo. And then we have the front hoop. I think when you're thinking for yourself about whether or not you're gonna go with a pre-made cage or if you're gonna go with one that's custom fabricated, I have now gone through both options. In my 350Z, I went with one that was just customized with the fabricator. He had the car for a good amount of time and then just built it up from there. And then now this is my first cage kit. To be honest, when I first was thinking about like having a kit that was prefabbed, I'm like, really, is it that, you know, is it that safe? Is it that structural? I was thinking more of things that weren't welded in. This one is just as structurally sound as like literally anything else. If not, it takes away the headache of having to design the cage. So this is a really, really good option for somebody that's trying to get up and ready like kind of quickly. Doesn't have to think about something that's tried and tested already. Those are kind of the two options. Now, in terms of lead time, I think these are made to order as of right now because, you know, these are the first cages that are coming out for them, for the Foxbody, for the road race side. And so I think that the lead time is about a couple weeks. If you're going the route of getting a cage, you can start thinking about that ahead of time, order it up, have it then shipped to you, and then meanwhile, you're waiting for a fabricator to open up space and whatnot. What's next for this cage is I am probably gonna wipe it down and primer it since I don't know what color I want because I'm gonna be waiting on you guys to help me with that. I'm gonna primer it so that it doesn't rust up. I live in California with not a whole lot of humidity. It's pretty dry heat, so I live in a spot that's not inducive of a lot of rust very quickly. But if you live in an area like the Midwest or the East Coast where you do have a lot more of that, you wanna make sure that you at least get some kind of coating on it. Some people will just like Scotch Brite it, put WD-40 on it. I think I'm just gonna go straight to wiping it down and then just primering it. Originally, I was going to actually paint the cage today. I was gonna just primer it just, you know, while it sits like this. And then I realized 30 minutes before I made this video that this stuff, although it's absolutely amazing, helps, you know, fight against rust and all of that, you can't really paint over it because, so this is weldable paint, but it's not weldable primer. And they have a weldable primer. I also I'm not sponsored or anything like that. Dubs had picked it up. Like I had sprayed a little test area and it came out so you can see the difference between this and that. I don't know, right out the can, honestly, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. And so if you haven't seen it before, it's like, it has stainless steel like flakes in it. And so it's supposed to replicate, you know, like you can do like diffs and all sorts of things. So one of the pros of utilizing something like this is that it's weldable. So that was kind of my big thing. And honestly, right out the can, it was like, it's absolutely gorgeous. But one of the cons is that you can't really paint over it because it has like stainless steel flakes and all that. Apparently, like it's not a really good surface as like a primer. I have to nix that idea. I'm gonna go pick up some primer. I didn't want to hold off the video any longer to do it, so I will go figure that out.